In the beginning of the drama, we see our female lead Yugji, who had gone to visit her high school, and right there, old memories from 10 years ago started coming back to her. She was thinking, will Ming ever forgive me? I had hurt him so much. And with this, the story takes us back 10 years, and in the very first scene, we see our male lead Ming creates a huge mess. It was assembly time, and for some reason the guards were chasing after him. As soon as he starts running, he opens all the taps that come in his way. He had soaked everyone in water, and he created such chaos in the assembly that whoever was watching, some were happy and some were offended. He was just like that. You could call him a spoiled brat with a lively heart, but along with that, he was also very handsome. Well, in the morning itself, after the stunt he had pulled, he deserved a punishment, and the punishment he got was that the teacher confiscated his new bike and told him, if you don't improve, you will not get this bike back. You should learn a little something. Just look at Yugji. See how brilliant a student she is. I wish you could also become a model student like her. And along with this, she also set a condition. She said the mock exams are coming up, and if you don't make it into the top 1,000 students of the whole city, then forget about the bike. But how could he forget the bike? It was very dear to him. By the way, he was from a rich family. He could have bought a new bike too, but he thought it was better to get this one back from the teacher. Just as Yugji was one of the topper students, on the other hand, Ming did not pay any attention to his studies at all, and he was one of the last-ranked students. Now one day, in the evening, Yugji was going somewhere on her bicycle when she collided with Ming right there, and a keychain fell from her pocket, which landed in Ming's hand, and on it was a mini bow. Meanwhile, we are also shown about Yuji's life. She was rushing so much today because she was going somewhere for an interview. She belonged to a poor family, and to help her grandmother, she worked part-time as a tutor. But a high schooler cannot be a tutor. That's why she presented herself everywhere as if she was a college student, and she had also made up an absolutely impressive family background. But in fact, all this hard work and running around in her life, she did only and only for her grandmother. Her grandmother was her only family. And one day, when it was her grandmother's birthday, on that very day we find out that she has a classmate named Jiang who lives right in her neighborhood. He also knew all her secrets, and her grandmother liked him a lot too. Actually, he was also very good at studies, just like Yugji. On the other hand, one day Ming finds out through his friend Fan that he got such good marks because he had gotten a top student's notes. These notes were sold secretly. Nobody knew who made these notes, because that student did not want to get reported while doing this illegal work, but in return, they earned a decent amount of money. And then we are shown that the student who made these notes was none other than Yugji, who secretly sold the note, and she had kept her name as Mr. Bo, so that everyone would think she was a boy and nobody could ever reach her. Ming also somehow manages to get her contact, and then he messages her saying, I need the note. But when she was reading this message, Jiang was also standing beside her, and she immediately blocks Ming. She says, I will absolutely not sell notes to this one. He is a troublemaker, and he will surely get me into trouble too. Now Ming tries in many different ways to get those notes, but every time he gets pushed out. So he chooses the back doorway. He had carefully observed Mr. Bo's profile picture. He finds out that there was a tree in the backyard of their school. This means he goes near this tree at night, and he understands that he will surely catch this top student. At night, people did not go there. They were afraid of ghosts, but Ming goes there anyway. There was an abandoned area there. There was also a swimming pool, and near it many desks too, and right between these desks, he catches Yugji red-handed studying at her own hidden spot. He says to her, it's you, right, Mr. Bo? I have found out. Why didn't you give me the note? Now, after he had found her, right at this moment, the guard who was following his friend also reaches there. But at this place, Yugji had set up something like this, that she drops a very big cupboard from a distance, and the guard runs away, thinking there must be a ghost here. By the way, Yugji was very smart, and he had already become quite impressed by her. Ming says to her, why didn't you give me the note? Yugji replies, I didn't give them because you are too flashy, and I don't want to get into any trouble. And right there, he also shows her the Bao keychain. It was very dear to her, and in the scuffle to get it back, Ming secretly stole her notes too. He seems to always stay 2 steps ahead of Yugji. After that, we are shown that there was a big difference in Ming's result. At first, the teacher thinks he is cheating, but when he checks the test and asks him questions, he finds out that all his answers actually made sense to him. This means he had truly improved. Meanwhile, Yugji had also realized that this useless boy had stolen her notes. 1 term had passed, and now for the next term, to get the notes, he kept following behind her. Yugji tells him, "You should be ashamed that you have caused harm to my business." But he says sorry to her, and then in return she says, "Fine, then I will charge you double the rate for the next notes." And along with this, we are shown another character named Louis, who worked for loan sharks. He had come to meet Yugji today, and he was demanding money from her because she was late in paying her installment. And right here, we find out that Yugji's father has a lot of debt, which she has now inherited. She has to pay this off. But she never let this matter reach her grandmother, because her grandmother was already a patient, and she did not want any shock to reach her heart. Poor Yugji was spending her days in great helplessness, and her grandmother was her only support, who, on the outside, showed herself to be completely strong. But deep inside, there was an illness that was making her weak. Well, now after giving Ming the notes at school, Yugji takes her mini bao back from him. But along with this, she finds out one more thing, and that is that he wants to take admission abroad and is preparing for TOEFL. After that, when Yugji takes her grandmother to the hospital, the doctor tells her that her condition is very bad. Besides the medicines that are covered in insurance, she also needs some medicines that could be effective on her, but they're very expensive. Now she has to arrange these medicines for her grandmother somehow. In such a situation, she cannot think of anything else. So, she calls her mother, but her mother is simply not picking up her call. She becomes sad, as if all her childhood wounds had become fresh again. And we are shown in a flashback that her mother had abandoned her own daughter for the sake of a rich man. Little Yugji had cried a lot, suffered a lot, but her mom had left her and gone away. Meanwhile, something even worse happens to the poor girl. The family of the child she used to coach got her background checked, and they found out that although she teaches well, she is still not a college student. She had lied about her background, so now she leaves her job there and walks away. Now, while she was passing through this same posh area, her eyes fall on her mom right here. But a very big truth about her life comes in front of her, and that was that the man her mom had married was actually Ming's dad. This means Ming is her mom's stepson. She wasn't even picking up the calls of her own real daughter, but she was following behind Ming, trying to serve him and win his heart. Seeing this, the poor girl gets hurt deep inside, and right here, she makes a decision. As soon as she found out about this, she starts saying to herself, "Sorry, Ming, but I am going to use you." On the other hand, we are shown Ming. From the outside, he seems like a rich, spoiled boy, but deep inside he was very kind-hearted, and he often used to buy dying fish just to save them. And now, as soon as Yugji found out the secret about the stepson, she started staying right behind Ming all the time. She starts telling him, "I know you want to take admission abroad, but studying alone is no use. I know you are hiding this from your family. In that case, I can help you. Why don't we study together?" Along with this, at school too, she used to help him. She was a proctor, and often, when he was up to mischief, she would let him go. And then once again, she goes up to him, holds out her hand, making it look like she is doing all this for the money, but in fact, she wanted to get close to him under some excuse. After that, one day she secretly goes into the teacher's office and calls her mom's number from the landline there, and she kept mentioning Ming to her. She tells her, "Please make sure to come to the PTM." Her mom is left stunned, wondering how this could be possible, that Ming gave my number at school, because he always kept her at a distance. But just out of this happiness, she doesn't notice this thing, and she says yes to coming. Meanwhile, on the other side, she kept going after Ming again and again. She finds out that he has a fondness for video games, so she reaches outside the same shop and starts telling him, "Why don't you compete with me? If I beat you in even one round, then you will agree to take coaching from me." She had never played this game before today, and in the first 4 rounds she gets badly defeated. But she was a quick learner, and in the last round, she wins. Ming could not help but get impressed by her, and then finally, he reaches the same hidden spot for studying, and the moment Yugji sees him, she becomes very happy. Now both of them used to study English together. Yugji was very good at studies, and she helps him a lot. She even takes his tests. She also makes notes for him. But amid all this, while they were studying, Ming was feeling very hot. Yugji had noticed this thing, and after that, the next day, when she comes to that hidden spot for studying, she had also brought along a mini fan with her, and she was taking care of him. This was somewhere giving Ming a lot of happiness. At school too, she used to do something similar. Once in a while, she would bring a drink for him, even after standing in such a long line. She was making him feel special, and Jiang had also noticed the same thing. He had found out that Yugji was teaching someone, and that someone was none other than Ming. She tells Jiang that he is not like what everyone says about him. He is a very sensible person, and hearing this, Jiang was definitely feeling jealous somewhere inside. These days, Ming was also secretly trying to make a sketch of Yugji, and the two of them even had the same interests and habits. One day, she had brought along a dying fish to save it, but her bag starts leaking. So now, neither of them can think of anything else, and they secretly go into the chemistry lab and steal a beaker from there. But while doing all this, the guard's eyes fell on them. He was chasing them, and they were running ahead. All of this had turned into a complete adventure. In the midst of this, a moment comes when, while hiding, Yugji jumps down from the window. But Ming was afraid of height. He keeps being scared, but she tells him, "Don't lose your courage. Just jump. Trust me. I won't let you fall." And then exactly that happens. As soon as he is about to fall, she steps forward and catches him, and this scene turns from funny into a romantic scene. Ming and Yugji were both sitting in the school's backyard, looking at the same tree through which Ming had recognized Yugji. She starts saying, "Why did you find this special? Many people don't like it, or they just don't notice it." But he starts telling her that this tree has albinism, and that is why it felt very sweet to him. And that means that your taste and my taste are quite similar. And then, after that, Yugji starts telling him, "Ming, you are not at all like how I had imagined you." He asks, "How had you imagined me?" So she starts saying, "I thought you were a spoiled rich kid who never takes anything seriously, born with a golden spoon in his mouth. Your life is very easy, and after a few years you will get an already set up business. You will make many people your employees, and after that you will put a successful man label on yourself." Hearing this, Ming laughs and says, "Well, that is exactly my life plan." But somewhere inside, Yugji was feeling guilty. She starts telling him, "No, you are a good person. At least you don't hurt anyone." He starts asking, "Who did you hurt that you're saying this?" And then she changes the subject. Now, when she was going back, she was going by bus, and beside her, Ming was riding his heavy bike. When he sees her sitting on the bus seat, he starts riding his bike right alongside it. The two of them look at each other and smile, and they were having a very sweet time. Now, one day, Ming also makes Fan promise that, since he has found out his secret that he is studying for abroad, he must not let his family find out about this. If they find out, they will not let him go at all. After that, he starts noticing that in the same area where he used to sit at the workshop, Yugji also often passed by, and there was a fish shop there. Here, there were some last fish left. That shop was about to close forever. These fish could not be sold. Yugji feels very bad about it. Ming also liked fish very much. He comes up to her and starts saying, "Why don't I just buy all of these?" He knew that Yugji would not have that much money, so he buys all of them and then says, "I am a rich kid. It doesn't make any difference to me." In the next scene, bringing so many fish, they released them into the swimming pool, which had water in it that day. Now, watching the fish swim like this was a very lovely sight. The two of them sat together watching them, and at the same time they were also talking. But meanwhile, Yugji realizes that one of them is a betta fish. She says, "You don't leave this one with the rest, or else it will attack them," and then she immediately jumps into the water to gather her fish back. And of course, right behind her, Ming does the same. The two of them go underwater, swim together, and enjoy a lot of time with their fish. Now, since both of them had gotten wet, after that, they decide to go to the school's storeroom. Here, they find a lot of t-shirts made for a club lying around. They think that they should change out of their wet clothes, so he tells Yugji, "You go to the back and change." And as soon as she goes to the back, her eyes fall on Ming once, while he was shirtless. The moment she sees this, she looks away. She had become quite shy. To change the subject, she starts asking him, "Why do you want to go abroad?" He says, "Because here, I'm not attached to anyone." Along with this, he also advises her, "Pay special attention to your studies. Never become careless like me. I think, with how much of a genius you are, your future is going to be very bright." After that, they once again brought a lot of beakers from the chemistry lab. They had separated the fish into each and every flask and beaker. Yugji tells him, "Didn't you know that a betta fish eats up all the rest? Didn't you watch Animal Planet when you were little?" He starts saying, "No, nobody ever let me watch that much TV." And then he starts telling her, "I don't know why, but I feel like you want to get close to me on purpose." Before she could give any answer, the guard arrives there and catches them red-handed. The next day, this is the scene they show. At school, an announcement was being made. The two of them had received punishment for using the school lab's equipment without permission. Now everyone is told, through this announcement, which two students had broken the school's rule. Everyone was very surprised to hear Yugji's name, because she always used to come in second. She could not do something like this, and as for Ming, nobody could even expect anything else from him. Now, at this point, Ming speaks up and tells everyone, in front of the announcement, that Yugji was not at fault at all in this. He says, I forcibly brought her along with me, under the excuse of learning a lab experiment. But I put my fish into those flasks on purpose. And Yugji also says, I am very ashamed. They were criticized in front of everyone, because this was against the school's rule. After going outside, Yugji says, why did you take all the blame on yourself? I was doing all of this by my own choice. He starts saying, your image is very good, and it should stay crystal clear. Well, now she thanks Ming and tells him, in return, I will give you a treat, and yes, we will go to the place of my choice. On the other hand, Jiang had lately started getting very bothered by the growing friendship between the two of them. Now, at the time of the break, she immediately left, and she was taking Ming along with her through a narrow market, where he could not even ride his bike. He kept telling her, leave your bike. You also sit on the back seat of my bike. But she says, no, I never sit on anyone's back seat. I always stay in driving mode. Well, now somehow, dragging his bike along, they finally reached that shop. Actually, this was the shop where Yugji's grandmother used to work, and here she makes him sit down and orders her favorite customized noodles for him. She challenges him that he will not get the taste of these noodles anywhere else. The uncle who ran the shop knew Yugji very well, and he also found Ming to be a very good boy, and this uncle was also very fond of bikes. So Ming quickly became friends with him. But it seems the uncle could not keep things to himself. He immediately told this to Yugji's grandmother as well, and she starts asking her, who is that boy? She says, he was just a friend, that's all. But then Grandma starts getting angry at her and says, I have found out through Jiang that you are not paying much attention to your studies, and on top of that, you have also broken the school's rules. Before Grandma's health could get worse, she calms her down and reassures her as well. Grandma says, Jiang did not tell me himself. I keep questioning him myself, so he told me the truth. But now, just as she was standing on the roof of her building, Jiang comes there, and she fights with him a lot and says, is this how friends behave? Now he says sorry to her and says, I could not hide things from Grandma. Along with this, he starts telling her, you are my one and only friend, and ever since Ming has come, I feel like the two of us are growing very far apart. In the middle of the conversation, he starts asking her, what have you thought about the future? Which university do you want to go to? What type of person do you want to become? She says, I want to become a kind person. So he asks her, have you done something wrong right now? You are already kind. Meanwhile, Ming had bought a very big, cute aquarium and had shifted all the fish into it, and he took a photo of this and showed it to Yugji as well. Seeing this, she feels relieved that the fish are safe. Now, one day, Ming and Yugji were talking. On the same day that the PTM was at school, there was also a balloon festival in which all the students would write their own wishes and let them fly into the air. She tells Ming, you will come to the PTM, won't you? Please do come. I want to fly that balloon together with you. Actually, the balloon was just an excuse. That day, under this excuse, she deliberately wanted to see her mom and him standing together in front of each other. Now, when the day of the PTM comes, she secretly makes a call from the teacher's phone once again. She was talking by pretending to be the English teacher and makes sure that her mom would definitely come to attend this PTM. She tells her the exact same timing as the balloon festival. Her mom did find it a bit strange. Under the excuse, she asks teacher, have you checked with Ming? Does he have any objection to me coming? She says, yes, we have informed him. Now she was about to deceive Ming, and she was also feeling bad about this. But still, at the balloon festival, she kept searching for Ming again and again. She looks here and there, but he was nowhere to be seen. And then everyone writes their wishes and lets their balloons fly into the air. But Yugji had not written any wish at all, and just as the festival was about to end, at that very moment, it shows Ming entering there with a lot of balloons, and he starts saying, I don't have just one wish. I wrote a lot of balloons, and I wrote every single one of my wishes on them, and the two of them let these balloons fly together. It was a very beautiful sight. Along with this, as soon as Yugji sees that her mom is about to arrive, she immediately hugs Ming. She deliberately wanted to show this scene to her mom. As soon as her mom arrives, she pretends as if she does not know Yugji at all, and the moment he sees this, Ming feels annoyed. He immediately leaves from there, upset with her. Yugji asks him, "Do you hate women?" He says, "Yes, that's exactly how it is. My dad has a habit of changing ladies, and this will continue as long as she is beautiful and sensible." And that's it. Yugji had used Ming as much as she needed to, and finally her mom comes to meet her herself. This was exactly what she wanted. Now her mom starts telling her, "You have grown quite a lot, and quite clever too. Since when have you known this boy?" Actually, the mom never wanted Ming's dad to find out who had become his son's girlfriend. If he found out that she was her daughter, he would be very upset. And that's exactly why she starts saying, "I know that grandma needs treatment, and you need money. You set up this trap for me for the sake of money, didn't you? Fine, I agree, you have grown up. You have become clever. I will also give you as much money as you need. But in return, there is a condition, that you will stay away from Ming." She gives her a card and says, "After this, I am dead for you, and you are dead for me. And yes, you are not a small child anymore. You have grown up. Stand by your word." Before leaving from here, quite a few tearful complaints were also exchanged between the mother and daughter. Yuji's point was, "However plainly I have lived, eating whatever simple food there was, I never begged you for anything. But now I cannot see grandma in this condition. Anyway, you never gave me even a single penny to cover any expenses, and now this becomes my right. I am not doing anything wrong. And anyway, after dad left, whatever money was left, you took all of it and left." Her mom smiles and says, "How much money was that? It was nothing at all." Meanwhile, it shows us Ming. He had intended to prepare a gift for Yugji. He had one piece, and with it he was making a small matching arrow. He makes the arrow with a lot of effort, and he had thought he would give her this gift in the form of a very beautiful necklace. But Yugji had completely changed. Whenever she saw Ming at school, she would ignore him. She would avoid him. Once, he even calls out to her. Jiang says, "Your friend is calling you." But she says, "He is not my friend." Now this hurt poor Ming very badly. He was that hurt. He could not understand the reason behind her ignoring him. He wanted to talk to her. She would avoid him and walk away. Now he asks his friend Fan for advice. He says, "A boy and a girl were very good friends. But suddenly, the girl has completely changed her color. She is avoiding the boy. Why is this happening?" Fan reacts as if he understands everything. What is the answer to this? But then he says, "I have only understood this much, that the girl is Yugji, and the boy is you. And how would I know? There must surely have been some misunderstanding between the two of you over something. Don't ask me. Don't waste time. Go and ask her directly." And then, once, on a zebra crossing, some bikers were about to crash into Yugji, when, just in time, he rides his bike in between them. He protects her. He even chases those thugs away from there with his rope. After that, he tells her, "Come, sit on the bike. It's raining so hard. Come with me." But she refuses, so he says, "You won't agree like this. You are very stubborn." And he takes off his own jacket and gives it to her, so that at least she does not get wet. Well, now, once in the teacher's room, a teacher was scolding Fan, and Yugji was also right there at that time. Meanwhile, another teacher comes in and starts saying, "I have found out that Ming has not been coming to school these days. Instead of taking admission in a university here, he has contacted someone for admission abroad. I have found this out secretly. I want to talk to him about it. Does his family know about this?" And as soon as Yugji feels that Ming's dream is about to be in danger, she immediately takes all the blame on herself. She says, "Actually, Ming had some relatives who lived abroad. I had asked him to get information about a university abroad for myself. He is not planning anything like that at all." Now, hearing this, the teacher feels reassured, and he decides not to inquire about this any further. Well, now Ming sees the same shirt that he had once worn along with Yugji. So memories of Yugji start coming back to him, and meanwhile, he gets a message saying, "I did not let your dad find out, and I have also gotten your overseas admission done, and I have also booked your flight ticket." And of course, this message would be coming from none other than Yuji's mom. On the other hand, Grandma had once caught Yugji red-handed. She had already bought very expensive medicines and was tearing up and throwing away the receipt. Now Grandma catches her and says, "Being just a student, where did you get so much money from? You haven't done anything wrong, have you?" She kept saying again and again, "I am perfectly fine. Doctors just make up things like this." But she argues with Grandma and says, "Just accept it, Grandma. This money that came to me was not wrong. It was completely fair, and it was my right." Along with this, she starts telling her, "You are my only family. I don't want to lose you." After that, it shows us the last day of school. Today, all the students had come there. After this, all these high schoolers will go off into their own lives to build their own futures. For today, They had chosen the topper, Jiang, to give a speech, but Jiang was nowhere to be seen at all. So the teacher does this. As a substitute, she tells Yugji, you memorize this speech well, and go up on stage and deliver it. Meanwhile, on the other hand, it shows us that inside, Ming and Jiang come face to face. Jiang tells Ming, after today, we will all leave school and never try to come into Yuji's life again. This chapter is closed right here. And over this very thing, he starts fighting with Ming. He says, who are you to dictate to me? But of course, here, it was Jiang who threw the first punch, and here, for the first time, we find out that these two are actually relative. Not just any relation, but the two of them are brothers. They were half-brothers, and that is exactly why they already had a lot of resentment toward each other beforehand. And that is exactly why Jiang always hated Ming and wanted him to never get close to Yugji. Jiang says, don't forget, I came into this world before you. Jiang was the son of a mistress, whereas Ming was his dad's one and only legitimate son. Ming starts telling him, you call yourself different, but you, being with Yugji, you also know which family you come from. He could have beaten him up properly, but even so, he just gives him a warning. After that, as soon as Yugji had finished giving her speech, she goes upstairs to look for the two of them. But when she sees them, it was clearly visible that the two of them had fought with each other. Ming leaves from there, but after that, she gets angry at Jiang and says, why did you fight because of me? It's my life. It's my choice. Please never interfere again. But Jiang's point was, the whole school knows what kind of boy he is. Why have you kept hanging around with him? But her point was, you don't know him at all. How good he is. He is much better than me, even. Well, now they see their friends off, and after that, as soon as Jiang reaches home, it turns out that his mom is always busy with work. It seems she is living a struggling life while raising her son, and she was telling him, don't disappoint me, study with focus from now on. He had come home after fighting. He had also gotten injured, but his mom did not even realize that he was hurt. All she knew was that today his uniform did not look properly set. Meanwhile, when Ming was standing at the bike workshop that day, Fan comes up to him. He starts telling him, I forgot to tell you one thing. You know, Yugji had covered up your plan to go abroad in front of the teacher. By the way, if she ignores you, then why was she covering for you? And that was exactly the thing. The moment he hears this, Ming runs to go meet her. He was heading to the same spot at school where the two of them used to sit together and study. But Ming takes too long to get there. Yugji had sat there for a long time on the last day, waiting for just one glimpse of him. But in the end, just as she leaves from there, at that very moment, Ming enters, and just like that, the two of them had already gone their separate ways. It was 2016 back then, and now 2026 had come. 10 years had passed. The two of them go to visit the school once again. And after 10 years, once again, fate brought them face to face with each other. Yugji was looking at a dog that she found very lovely, but coming up from behind, Ming tells her, it's been quite a few years since I last saw you.